stop, my beloved child. Do not take another step until you hear me. Whatever you were about to do, whatever decision has been pressing on your heart, whatever path you have been convincing yourself to follow, pause. I am not calling out to frighten you. I am calling because I love you. There are moments when my voice comes as a gentle whisper, and there are moments when my love speaks with urgency. This is one of those moments. You may have opened this message expecting ordinary words, but I tell you, your heart was brought here for a purpose. Do not dismiss this interruption. It may be the very pause your soul has been crying out for without even realizing it. You did not arrive here by accident. Out of countless distractions, your attention settled here. That with no coincidence. I know what has been weighing on your mind. I know the pressure you have been carrying, the confusion that has clouded your judgment, and the quiet struggle you have hidden from everyone around you. I have seen the sleepless nights, the unanswered questions, and the moments when you whispered, "Lord, show me what to do." My child, I have heard every one of those prayers. That is why I am asking you to stop before moving forward. Perhaps you are about to make a decision out of fear instead of faith. Perhaps you are ready to give up on something that still deserves patience. Or perhaps you have been carrying so much disappointment that you have begun to believe there is no better way. Whatever your situation, know this. I do not rush to interrupt your life without reason. When I call you to pause, it is because I desire to give you wisdom before regret, peace before panic, and hope before despair. If you choose to move past this message without listening, you may miss the opportunity to examine your heart with honesty and clarity. You may overlook the guidance that could steady your next step or the encouragement that reminds you that you are never beyond my care. But if you remain, if you listen with humility and openness, you may find that your fear begins to loosen its grip, your thoughts become clearer, and your heart becomes more willing to trust my direction instead of your own uncertainty. Beloved, I know you are tired. I know you have carried burdens that few people understand. I know there were moments when you felt as though you had to face everything alone. Yet I have been near you through every trial, every disappointment, and every silent prayer. I have not abandoned you, and I have not stopped working for your good. Even when you could not see the way ahead, I was preparing a path one faithful step at a time. So remain with me for these next few moments. Set aside the noise, the hurry, and the assumptions you have been carrying. Listen with your spirit as well as your mind. What comes next is not meant to fill you with fear, but to draw you toward wisdom, hope, and deeper trust. This pause is not the end of your journey. It is the doorway into the message I have been preparing for your heart all along. My child, before you go any further, I need you to stop and sit with me for a moment. I know your thoughts have been racing, and I know part of you feels cornered right now. You are tired of carrying emotions that never seem to quiet down. You have been trying to stay strong for longer than people realize, and lately it has started to feel like the pressure inside you is becoming too heavy to manage. That is why the decision in front of you feels so tempting. You are not chasing rebellion as much as you are searching for relief. I understand that more than you think, but I need you to hear me carefully. The thing you are about to do will not heal the part of you that is hurting. It may distract you for a little while. It may numb the exhaustion for a moment. But afterward, you will still be left facing the same emptiness, only now with more regret added to it. You have been trying to solve spiritual pain with emotional reactions, and that road always leaves your heart more wounded than before. You keep telling yourself that nobody truly understands what has been happening inside you. You smile when people are looking, but your mind rarely rests. Even during quiet moments, there is tension sitting inside your chest. You have carried disappointment, frustration, and loneliness for so long that unhealthy choices are starting to look comforting simply because they offer an escape. But I did not come to condemn you for feeling overwhelmed. I came to warn you because I love you too much to watch you damage yourself while believing it is your only option. The uneasiness you feel right now is not random. That hesitation in your spirit is there for a reason. Deep down, you already know this decision is being driven by exhaustion instead of peace. I want you to understand that you do not have to act out of desperation just because you are emotionally tired. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to admit that you are not okay. You are allowed to stop pretending that you can carry all of this alone. Let me be honest with you, my child. Some of the pain you are carrying cannot be healed by distractions, relationships, impulsive choices, or temporary comforts. Your soul is asking for rest, not escape. That is why I interrupted this moment before you moved further down a path that would only deepen the ache already living inside you. Stay here with me instead of rushing toward something you will later wish you avoided. You do not need to make a permanent decision from temporary pain. Let me help you breathe again before your emotions choose a direction your heart was never meant to follow. My child, you have spent so much time trying to appear steady on the outside that you barely recognize how exhausted you have become within yourself. I have watched you move through your days carrying pressure that nobody else fully sees. You answer questions with a tired smile. You tell people you are fine because explaining the truth feels too heavy, too complicated, or too vulnerable. But I know what happens after the conversations end and the room becomes quiet again. I know how your thoughts begin circling through fear, disappointment, and the feeling that something inside you is slowly wearing down. You have pushed yourself past emotional limits for so long that survival has started to feel normal to you. You wake up already drained. You carry responsibilities while secretly wondering how much longer you can keep doing this without breaking apart somewhere deep inside. Even moments that should bring rest no longer feel restful because your mind rarely stops moving. You have been trying to hold together pieces of yourself that have quietly cracked under years of pressure, heartbreak, and disappointment. Come closer to me for a moment and stop pretending you are not hurting. I am not asking you to impress me with strength you no longer have. I want honesty from you. I want the truth you keep hiding behind your composure. Let your guard down. Breathe slowly. Speak openly to me instead of burying everything under distraction and silence. You do not need to clean yourself up emotionally before coming near me. Part of your desperation comes from how alone you have felt in your struggle. You have carried questions that frighten you. You have wondered why life keeps feeling heavier when you are already tired. At times, you even questioned whether anybody would notice if your heart finally gave out under the weight of everything you have been carrying. But I noticed, my child. I saw every moment you stared into the dark trying to calm your own thoughts. I saw every private battle you never explained to another person. You keep searching for something to quiet the ache inside you, but your soul is not asking for another distraction. Your soul is asking for safety, rest, and truth. Stop running toward temporary comfort that leaves you emptier afterward. Come sit with me instead. Bring me the anger you hide. Bring me the confusion you cannot untangle. Bring me the exhaustion you are embarrassed to admit. I already know it is there. Listen carefully now. You are not weak because you are struggling. You are human, and you have been carrying more than your heart was designed to hold alone. Let me walk with you through this instead of watching you slowly disappear beneath it. Stay close to me tonight. Stop trying to survive this season by yourself when I have been reaching for your hand the entire time. My child, the restlessness inside you did not appear without reason. You have tried to ignore it, distract yourself from it, and explain it away, but it keeps returning because your spirit knows something your mind keeps trying to avoid. Lately, even the things that once comforted you have started feeling empty. Conversations feel shorter. Excitement fades quickly. You keep searching for peace in places that only leave your thoughts more unsettled afterward. That discomfort has not come to punish you. It has come to wake you up before you wander too far from the life your heart truly needs. You have been standing in environments, habits, and relationships that slowly drain your spirit, even when they temporarily soothe your emotions. Deep inside, you know certain things are changing you in ways you never intended. That is why there is tension inside you whenever you sit quietly with your thoughts. Part of you already recognizes that you cannot keep living disconnected from your peace and expect your soul to remain healthy. Stop fighting the discomfort for a moment and listen to what it is trying to show you. Your heart has become restless because you were never created to survive on numbness, distraction, and emotional escape. You were made for closeness with me. You were made to live with clarity inside your spirit instead of constantly carrying hidden chaos beneath the surface. The more you ignore the truth, the heavier your inner life becomes. I know you have tried to convince yourself that you can manage everything alone. You tell yourself that eventually the feeling will disappear on its own. But your soul keeps speaking louder because I refuse to let you settle into a life that slowly empties you from within. I care too much about you to remain silent while you drift further into emotional exhaustion. Come away from the noise for a little while. Put down the constant distractions that keep pulling your attention in every direction. Sit with me honestly. Let yourself admit what you have been avoiding. You already know some paths are leading you away from peace. You already know certain choices leave your spirit heavier afterward. Stop ignoring what your heart has been trying to tell you. This restlessness is not proof that I abandoned you. It is proof that I am still calling you back before your heart becomes completely hardened by exhaustion and disappointment. Let me guide you gently instead of forcing yourself through another season pretending everything is fine. You do not need to keep silencing your soul just to survive your days. There is another way forward, and I am asking you now to trust me enough to follow it. My child, I know how badly you have wanted relief from everything weighing on your heart. You have reached moments where you would have accepted almost anything if it could silence the pressure inside your mind for even a little while. That is why certain choices have started looking attractive to you lately. They promise comfort. They offer escape. They create the illusion that your pain is finally fading. But I need you to slow down and look deeper at what is really happening inside you after those moments pass. You already know the pattern, even if you rarely say it out loud. There are things you turn toward when you feel overwhelmed, lonely, rejected, or emotionally exhausted. For a short time, they seem to help. They distract you from the ache. They pull your attention away from the fear and heaviness living inside your chest. But later, when the noise fades and you are alone again, the emptiness quietly returns. Sometimes it even feels heavier than before because now regret has attached itself to your pain. Come closer and listen carefully to me. Temporary relief and real peace are not the same thing. Relief only changes your feelings for a moment. Peace reaches the deeper places inside your soul and restores what exhaustion has been draining from you. Relief depends on escape. Peace allows you to breathe honestly without running from yourself. That is why your spirit still feels restless after chasing things you hoped would finally satisfy you. You have been trying to soothe wounds that require healing, not hiding. Some parts of your heart are tired because you keep covering the pain instead of bringing it into the light with me. I am not angry with you for that. I understand why you became this way. You have carried disappointments that changed you. You have survived seasons where you felt emotionally abandoned, and now you instinctively reach for anything that makes the loneliness quieter. But do not confuse emotional numbness with healing, my child. They are not the same. Set down the things that keep pulling you away from your peace. Stop feeding habits that leave your spirit emptier afterward. Step away from what only comforts your emotions while starving your soul. I am inviting you into something deeper than temporary escape. Sit with me honestly instead of constantly searching for another distraction. Let yourself feel what you have been avoiding. Let me into the places you keep trying to manage alone. You do not need another quick fix for your pain. You need rest for your heart. You need truth strong enough to steady your thoughts again. You need the kind of peace that still holds you together after the difficult moments arrive. That peace will not come from the world around you. It comes from staying close to me long enough for your spirit to heal instead of merely surviving another day. My child, do not ignore this moment, because what you choose to do next can become part of someone else's rescue from the darkness they have been hiding in. There are weary souls wandering through silent battles right now, desperate for the same peace I am speaking over your heart in this very hour. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not simply giving money. You are pouring oil into lamps that are guiding hurting people back toward my light. I told you in Luke 6:38, give, and it shall be given unto you. And my word is still alive, still moving, still multiplying in the lives of those who obey my voice. Do not treat this invitation casually, because I am placing an opportunity before you to become part of a harvest of healing, restoration, and deliverance. What comforts the soul for a moment will fade, but what is sown into my kingdom will echo into eternity. I will remember every seed released with faith, and I will breathe favor, provision, and protection over the hands that choose obedience today. Do not delay. Support this mission now through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link waiting for you in the description. My child, there are moments in your life when danger does not arrive loudly. Sometimes it approaches quietly, slowly changing your heart without you noticing how far you have drifted. That is what has been happening to you lately. You thought you were only making small compromises to cope with stress, disappointment, and emotional exhaustion. You told yourself you were still in control. But I need you to understand how close you came to losing parts of yourself that once mattered deeply to you. You almost lost your sensitivity to my voice. You almost reached the point where your heart became so overwhelmed by noise, distraction, and emotional survival that peace started feeling unfamiliar to you. There were moments when your spirit tried to warn you, but exhaustion kept convincing you to ignore it. You kept moving toward things that slowly darkened your inner life while pretending everything was still manageable. I watched your smile grow more tired. I watched your thoughts become heavier. I watched you pull away from the quiet places where you once felt closest to me. Sit with me honestly now and let yourself recognize how serious this became. You were not just risking another mistake. You were standing near a path that could have reshaped the way you see yourself, the way you trust others, and even the way you respond to my presence. Some choices do not destroy people instantly. They slowly drain clarity, tenderness, and hope until a person no longer recognizes who they used to be. But I intervened because I could not watch you continue walking in that direction without reaching for you. The interruption you are experiencing right now is mercy. I stepped into your path because I still care deeply about your future. Even now, you may not fully realize how much I protected you from. There were conversations, relationships, and decisions that looked harmless on the surface but carried consequences your weary heart was too tired to notice clearly. Come back toward me now instead of pushing further into confusion. Let this moment wake you up before more damage settles into your spirit. Stop treating your exhaustion like something insignificant. Your soul matters too much to keep surviving on emotional autopilot. Open your heart again. Be willing to face the truth instead of hiding behind distraction and temporary comfort. You are not standing here because you are abandoned. You are standing here because I refuse to let you disappear quietly into something that would eventually leave you emptier, colder, and farther from the life your heart truly longs for. Let this warning soften you instead of frightening you. I am still holding out my hand to you, and there is still time to turn around before the things you almost lost become things you deeply regret losing forever. My child, there is a reason this moment feels different to you. Something inside your heart recognized that these words were not random the second you stopped here. You tried to keep moving. Part of you wanted to scroll away and bury yourself in distraction again, but another part of you became still because your spirit sensed my presence reaching toward you. I need you to understand this clearly now. I did not interrupt your life by accident. I stepped in because I could see where your exhaustion was leading you, and I refused to remain silent while you drifted deeper into confusion. You have been walking around carrying wounds that nobody fully understands. Some of them came from disappointment. Others came from betrayal, loneliness, and the quiet pressure of constantly pretending you were stronger than you really felt. Little by little, your heart became tired. Your thinking became clouded. You started making decisions from survival instead of peace. That is when heaven moved closer to you. That is when I began placing signs in front of you that something needed to change before your spirit grew colder than you realized. Come sit with me honestly for a moment and stop trying to outrun what your soul already knows. You have felt this pull recently in quiet moments. You have sensed that your life cannot continue the way it has been going. Even while smiling around people, there has been an ache sitting beneath the surface, whispering that something inside you is not well. I have watched you try to silence that feeling with busyness, noise, and temporary comforts, but the emptiness kept returning because your spirit was asking for me. So I stepped into your path before things went further. I arranged this interruption because I care too deeply about your future to let you slowly disappear beneath emotional exhaustion and spiritual numbness. You may not realize how close you came to making decisions that would have wounded your heart even more deeply. There were moments when your emotions were louder than your wisdom. There were nights when hopeless thoughts nearly convinced you that nothing would ever change. But I stayed near you through all of it. And now listen carefully to me. Stop treating your pain like something you must handle alone. Stop believing the lie that asking for help makes you weak. Open your heart instead of hardening it. Let yourself feel my presence without fighting it. You do not have to fix yourself before coming closer to me. Bring me your confusion exactly as it is. Bring me the parts of you that feel messy, tired, and ashamed. I already know them, and I am still reaching for you. This moment is mercy, my child. It is not punishment. Heaven stepped in because your story is not over, and I am not willing to lose you to the darkness that has been quietly surrounding your thoughts. My child, I know there were moments when you felt frustrated watching certain opportunities fall apart in front of you. You prayed. You hoped. You tried to move forward with plans you believed would finally make life easier or quieter inside your heart. But instead of progress, you faced delays, closed doors, and painful disappointments that left you wondering whether I had forgotten you. I saw those moments clearly. I heard every exhausted question you asked when things stopped working the way you expected them to. What you could not see at the time was how many of those closed doors were actually protecting you. You were asking me to let you walk into situations that would have deepened the very pain you were already struggling to carry. Some relationships looked comforting but would have slowly drained your spirit. Some opportunities appeared exciting but would have pulled you further away from peace, clarity, and emotional stability. You saw possibility, I saw the hidden weight attached to it. Come closer and listen honestly now instead of looking back with bitterness. Not every delay was rejection. Not every closed path meant I abandoned you. Sometimes love protects quietly. Sometimes mercy says no when your emotions are screaming yes. I know that hurt you. I know there were nights when you cried because things did not unfold the way you wanted. You compared your life to others and wondered why they seemed to move forward while you remained stuck in waiting. But your waiting was not empty, my child. There were things happening around you and within you that you were too emotionally overwhelmed to notice. You were not ready for some of the things you demanded from me. Your heart was too exhausted. Your thinking was too wounded. Had I opened certain doors too early, you would have entered them carrying unresolved pain that would eventually damage you from the inside out. That is why I slowed things down. That is why some plans collapsed even after you worked so hard to keep them alive. Stop measuring my love for you by how quickly things happen. Sit with me long enough to understand that protection does not always feel comforting in the moment. Sometimes it feels like loss before it reveals itself as mercy. I know your heart grew tired from disappointment, but do not let frustration convince you that I was absent. I was standing between you and things that would have stolen more from you than you realize. Release your anger now. Let go of the belief that I ignored your prayers. I heard every one of them, even the desperate ones spoken through tears and exhaustion. Trust me enough to believe that I can see farther ahead than you can. There are still doors waiting for you, but they will not require you to lose yourself just to walk through them. My child, there are voices that have been following you quietly for a long time now, and I need you to recognize them for what they truly are. They do not always sound harsh or obvious. Sometimes they speak softly through your own thoughts. Sometimes they arrive when you are already tired, disappointed, or emotionally overwhelmed. They tell you that you are falling behind, that you are too damaged to recover, that your mistakes have already ruined too much. Over time, those lies settled into your thinking so deeply that you stopped questioning them. You started carrying them as though they were truth. I have watched you sit alone replaying failures in your mind while ignoring every sign of growth that still exists within you. You remember what went wrong far more easily than you remember the strength it took for you to survive everything that almost broke you. That is what these lies do, my child. They shrink your vision until all you can see is weakness, regret, and exhaustion. They convince you that your future is smaller than your pain. Listen carefully to me now and stop agreeing with voices that only deepen your despair. You are not beyond restoration. You are not too far from me. You are not disqualified because you struggled, doubted, or became emotionally tired. I know exactly where you are, and I still came near you. I still reached into your life because I have not abandoned the person you are becoming. The enemy has been trying to convince you that there is no point in fighting for your peace anymore. That is why hopeless thoughts have grown louder during quiet moments. That is why you sometimes feel emotionally numb even while surrounded by people. Those lies want you isolated because isolation weakens your ability to hear my voice clearly. They want you ashamed because shame keeps you hiding instead of healing. Come out of hiding now. Bring those thoughts into the light with me instead of feeding them in silence. Stop calling yourself worthless when I still see purpose inside you. Stop believing you are too broken for love, peace, or healing. Those thoughts may feel familiar, but familiarity does not make them true. You have spent too much time letting pain define your identity. I want you to do something difficult now. Be honest about the ways your inner voice has turned against you. Admit how often you criticize yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you love. Then place those thoughts before me instead of carrying them alone. Let me challenge the lies that have been shaping your emotions for too long. You are still mine, my child. Your story is not ended in failure. There is still tenderness inside your heart even after everything you have endured, and I refuse to let darkness convince you otherwise. Stay close to me and let truth become louder than the fear that has been whispering in your mind. My child, the enemy wanted silence to consume you, but I am raising up voices that carry truth into the places where despair once ruled. Every message shared through this mission becomes a torch in somebody's midnight hour, a river in somebody's dry wilderness, a reminder that I have not abandoned them. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are helping send my living word into hearts that were one step away from surrendering to hopelessness. Did I not say in Isaiah 58 that those who pour themselves out for the afflicted will become like a well-watered garden whose waters never fail? This is not merely support for a channel. It is participation in spiritual warfare against the lies destroying weary souls. I see those who give in secret, and I release peace over their homes, strength over their minds, and open doors over the paths that once felt blocked. The whisper of fear loses power when my children rise up in obedience and become carriers of light. Therefore act now. Sow your seed through Super Thanks, become a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description before this moment passes you by. My child, fear rarely enters a person's life looking dangerous at first. Most of the time, it arrives quietly. It disguises itself as caution, self-protection, or logic. That is how it slowly settled into your decisions without you fully noticing what was happening. After enough disappointment, rejection, and emotional exhaustion, you stopped trusting peace. You began trusting survival instead. Little by little, fear started shaping how you think, how you respond to people, and how you imagine your future. You became careful with your heart because you did not want to be hurt again. You avoided vulnerability because you grew tired of feeling misunderstood. You started expecting loss before anything even had a chance to grow. I saw all of it happening, my child. I watched your confidence shrink after certain wounds cut deeper than you admitted out loud. I watched fear teach you to hesitate even when your spirit wanted to move forward. Come sit with me honestly now, and stop pretending fear has been protecting you. Some of the walls you built to feel safe have also kept love, healing, and peace from reaching you fully. Fear convinced you that shutting down emotionally was strength. It told you distance was safer than connection. It whispered that disappointment would hurt less if you expected the worst before anything began. But living that way has exhausted your soul more than you realize. I know why you became guarded. You were trying to survive. You were trying to avoid more heartbreak. But fear has slowly been stealing moments from your life while convincing you it was helping you stay in control. It has affected your choices, your relationships, your faith in yourself, and even your willingness to trust me completely. That constant tension inside you did not come from peace. It came from carrying the burden of trying to predict and prevent every possible pain. Lay that burden down now. Stop rehearsing disasters in your mind before they even happen. Stop letting fear make decisions your heart later regrets. You do not need to control every outcome to be safe with me. Let your shoulders relax for a moment. Breathe slowly. Allow yourself to imagine a future that is not ruled by anxiety and emotional survival. I am asking you to trust me enough to loosen fear's grip on your thinking. You will not heal by staying emotionally hidden forever. Open your heart again, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Take small steps toward honesty, peace, and connection instead of retreating deeper into isolation. I know fear became familiar to you, but it was never meant to become your master. Stay close to me now while I teach your heart how to live without constantly expecting the worst. My child, you have been carrying far more than you admit to anyone around you. Even now, while reading these words, part of you is still trying to minimize your pain because you have grown used to handling everything quietly. You tell yourself other people have bigger problems. You convince yourself you should be stronger by now. So instead of reaching for help, you keep stacking pressure on top of exhaustion until your heart feels heavy before the day even begins. I see how often you hold back tears because you do not want anyone asking questions you are too tired to answer. I see the way you replay conversations in your mind long after everyone else has moved on. I see the pressure you place on yourself to keep functioning even while your spirit feels worn thin. You have carried responsibilities, disappointments, fears, and emotional wounds all at the same time, and somewhere along the way you began believing this was simply how life had to be. Come closer to me now and stop treating your suffering like a private prison sentence you must survive alone. You were never designed to carry this much weight without support. Your heart was not created to endlessly absorb stress, heartbreak, rejection, fear, and loneliness while pretending nothing is wrong. That pressure is beginning to show itself in your thoughts, your energy, your patience, and the way you speak to yourself when nobody else is listening. I want you to put the burden down for a moment. Stop gripping everything so tightly. Stop trying to solve every emotional storm through control and silence. Sit with me honestly instead of exhausting yourself trying to appear unshaken. You do not have to impress me with how much pain you can tolerate. I already know where you are struggling. Part of your exhaustion comes from constantly carrying things that belong in my hands, not yours. You carry guilt from the past as though punishing yourself will somehow fix what happened. You carry fear about the future as though worrying long enough will protect you from pain. You carry responsibility for other people's emotions until your own inner life feels neglected and drained. My child, release those burdens before they harden your spirit completely. Take a slow breath now and let yourself feel the truth of this moment. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to stop pretending that everything inside you is fine when it clearly is not. There is no shame in needing comfort, guidance, or healing. The shame comes from believing you must suffer in silence while your soul quietly collapses beneath the weight. Give me what has been crushing you. Bring me the anxiety you keep hiding. Bring me the thoughts that scare you. Bring me the exhaustion you cannot explain to anyone else. Let me carry what has been slowly draining the life out of your spirit before you lose yourself trying to survive it alone. My child, there is a kind of tiredness that sleep alone cannot fix. You have felt it growing inside you for a long time now. It is deeper than physical exhaustion. It settles quietly into your spirit until even simple things begin feeling heavy. You still move through your responsibilities. You still answer messages, go to work, speak to people, and handle daily life. But underneath all of it there is a weariness sitting inside your heart that never fully leaves. When a soul becomes tired, joy starts fading from places where it once came naturally. You stop looking forward to things. Conversations feel draining instead of comforting. Even moments of silence become difficult because your thoughts grow louder the second everything around you becomes still. That is where you have been living lately, my child. You have been surviving emotionally instead of truly living. I watched you slowly disconnect from parts of yourself that once felt hopeful and alive. You became so focused on enduring pain that you forgot what peace even felt like. Little disappointments started affecting you more deeply because your spirit was already exhausted underneath the surface. You began withdrawing emotionally while pretending you only needed space. In reality, your heart was simply too tired to keep carrying disappointment after disappointment without relief. Come sit with me honestly now and stop ignoring the condition of your soul. Your exhaustion matters more than you realize. When a soul stays tired for too long, numbness begins replacing tenderness. People stop expecting healing and begin settling for distraction instead. That is why certain habits, escapes, and unhealthy comforts started looking more appealing to you lately. Your spirit hath been desperate for relief. But listen carefully to me. Do not let exhaustion turn your heart cold. Do not let pain convince you that shutting down emotionally is the only way to survive. There is still softness inside you even after everything you have endured. There is still a part of you that longs for peace, closeness, and rest. Protect that part of yourself instead of burying it beneath constant distraction. I want you to slow down now. Step away from the noise that keeps overstimulating your mind while starving your spirit. Put down the pressure to constantly perform, fix, explain, or hold everything together. Let yourself breathe in my presence without trying to earn rest first. You do not need permission to admit you are tired. Your soul has been carrying wounds that were never properly healed, and now the weight of them is beginning to affect every part of your life. Do not ignore that any longer. Bring your exhaustion into the light with me instead of hiding it behind another temporary escape. I am still here, my child, and I have not grown tired of loving you even in the moments when you barely recognize yourself anymore. My child, there have been moments when even you could not understand your own choices. You promised yourself you would stop returning to the same habits, the same people, the same emotional patterns that keep leaving your heart wounded, yet somehow you kept finding yourself back in familiar pain again. Part of you became frustrated with yourself because you knew better. Another part of you quietly wondered if this was simply who you had become. But I want you to stop judging yourself long enough to understand what is really happening underneath your behavior. You are not only chasing harmful things, my child. You are chasing relief, comfort, connection, and escape from the ache living inside your spirit. The problem is that you have been reaching for those things in places that cannot truly hold your heart safely. Pain has a strange way of becoming familiar when someone has carried it long enough. Sometimes people return to what hurts them simply because the familiar feels less frightening than the unknown. You learned how to survive disappointment, rejection, and emotional inconsistency, so your heart slowly adapted to chaos even while longing for peace. Come closer now and stop running from the deeper truth. Your soul has been hungry for love, rest, reassurance, and safety for a very long time. That hunger never disappeared. It only became hidden beneath coping mechanisms, distractions, and choices that temporarily dulled the emptiness. But temporary comfort cannot heal long-term wounds. It only delays the moment when your heart finally admits how deeply tired it really is. I want you to sit honestly with your patterns instead of only feeling ashamed of them. Ask yourself why certain things still pull you in even after they hurt you repeatedly. Ask yourself why loneliness makes you vulnerable to people and situations you already know are unhealthy for your spirit. Do not rush past those questions. Stay there with me. Let me show you the parts of yourself that still need healing instead of condemnation. You have spent too much time calling yourself weak when the deeper issue was emotional starvation. Your heart kept searching for something to fill the emptiness, and because you felt exhausted and disconnected, you settled for things that offered quick comfort instead of lasting peace. But I am asking you now to stop feeding your pain with choices that quietly deepen it afterward. Step away from what keeps reopening your wounds. Stop revisiting places that leave your spirit heavier every time you walk away. You already know which habits numb you without healing you. You already know which relationships drain your peace while pretending to offer love. Be honest about that now. I am not pulling you away from these things to punish you. I am trying to protect the parts of your heart that still want to heal. Let me teach you what safe love, real peace, and honest rest actually feel like. Stay with me instead of returning to what slowly breaks you apart inside. My child, many are still trapped in cycles that keep reopening wounds they no longer know how to heal, and I am using this message to call them back before the damage grows deeper. Some who will hear these words are standing at the edge of decisions that could change the course of their lives forever. That is why your support through Super Thanks membership or the PayPal link in the description matters more than you realize, because every seed helps carry my voice into hearts crying out for rescue. A farmer who refuses to sow cannot expect a harvest. Yet those who plant faithfully in my kingdom will see rivers rise where drought once lived. I declared in Galatians 6:9 that those who do not grow weary in doing good will reap in due season. And I am speaking that promise over every giver right now. This is a divine interruption meant to pull people away from what destroys them and back toward my healing presence. I will multiply what is released in faith and surround obedient hearts with favor they did not expect. So do not hesitate. Stand with this mission now through Super Thanks membership or the PayPal link in the description. My child, some of the deepest wounds you carry were not caused by strangers. They came from people whose voices mattered to you. That is why the pain stayed so long inside your heart. You expected safety and received rejection instead. You trusted certain people with your tenderness, your loyalty, your vulnerability, and in return you were left carrying confusion, disappointment, and silence that still echoes through your thoughts even now. I know how much those moments changed you. I watched the way criticism slowly affected your confidence. I saw how betrayal made you question your value. I saw the moments when you became quieter because you no longer felt emotionally safe expressing what was happening inside you. Some wounds were created through harsh words. Others came through neglect, abandonment, emotional distance, or the feeling that no matter how much you gave, it was never fully enough. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending those experiences did not shape the way you see yourself. They did. Part of your fear, your self-doubt, and your emotional exhaustion can be traced back to moments when your heart was mishandled by people you trusted deeply. You learned to guard yourself because being open once cost you more pain than you expected. You learned to hide certain emotions because vulnerability no longer felt safe. Little by little, those experiences hardened parts of your spirit that were once soft and hopeful. But listen carefully to me, my child. The way people treated you was not a perfect reflection of your worth. Hurt people often wound others while carrying unresolved darkness inside themselves. Some people failed you because they were emotionally broken, selfish, immature, or consumed by struggles they never healed from. Their inability to love you well does not mean you were unlovable. I want you to stop carrying every cruel word as though it became your identity. Release the voices that still speak against your peace long after those moments ended. Stop replaying old rejection until it feels more powerful than the truth about who you are. Come bring those memories into the light with me instead of letting them silently shape your future relationships and choices. You do not need to become emotionally numb just to avoid future disappointment. You do not need to punish yourself for trusting people who eventually hurt you. Your heart was created to love and connect, not to live permanently hidden behind fear and emotional distance. Let me heal the places where trust was damaged. Let me untangle the shame, anger, and sadness you buried underneath survival. Stay near me while I remind you that your value was never determined by the people who failed to recognize it properly. You are still worthy of tenderness, honesty, peace, and love that does not leave your soul feeling abandoned afterward. My child, I know there are days when you barely recognize yourself anymore. You look at your life, your habits, your emotional state, and the mistakes you made, and you quietly wonder how you drifted this far from the person you once hoped to become. Shame has a way of changing how you see yourself. It slowly trains your mind to focus only on failure while ignoring the strength it took for you to survive everything that tried to destroy your spirit. That is why I need you to hear me clearly now. The version of you that I still see is not the broken image your pain keeps showing you. I see the person beneath the exhaustion. I see the tenderness you tried to hide after disappointment taught you to become guarded. I see the compassion you still carry even after being hurt by people who took your kindness for granted. I see the quiet resilience inside you that kept moving forward even during nights when your thoughts felt unbearably heavy. You focus so much on where you stumbled that you rarely notice how many times you kept getting back up. Come closer to me now and stop defining yourself only by your lowest moments. You are more than your worst decision. You are more than the seasons where fear controlled your choices. You are more than the habits you developed while trying to survive emotional pain. I know your full story, my child. I know the wounds behind your reactions, the loneliness behind your anger, and the exhaustion behind the mistakes you regret. None of it shocked me away from you. You keep assuming I look at you with disappointment, but what I feel toward you is compassion. I see someone who became emotionally overwhelmed and started losing sight of their own worth. I see someone who kept carrying pain silently until unhealthy coping became easier than honesty. That does not make you worthless. It makes you wounded. Stop speaking about yourself with cruelty. Stop repeating shame-filled thoughts until they sound true inside your mind. You would never speak to another hurting person the way you speak to yourself when nobody else is listening. So pause for a moment and let me show you another perspective. There is still goodness alive inside you. There is still purpose woven through your story. There is still healing available for the parts of your heart that feel damaged beyond repair. Look at yourself through my eyes instead of through your fear. Sit with me long enough for your identity to become rooted in truth instead of regret. You are not beyond restoration. You are not too late. The pain you carry may explain some of your struggles, but it does not define the future I still see for you. Stay close to me now, and let me remind you who you are beneath all the exhaustion and shame. My child, one of the hardest things about emotional pain is how quietly it separates you from people around you. Over time, you began feeling like nobody truly understood what was happening inside your heart. Even when surrounded by others, there were moments when you still felt strangely alone, as though part of you had become trapped behind walls nobody else could see. That isolation did not happen all at once. It built slowly through disappointment, fear, exhaustion, and the growing belief that being fully honest would only lead to more hurt. You stopped opening up the way you once did because vulnerability no longer felt safe. You became careful with your words. You started hiding emotions behind humor, silence, distraction, or pretending you were simply tired. The truth is that your soul has been aching for connection while simultaneously fearing it. The tension has exhausted you more than you realize. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending isolation is protecting your heart. I know why you withdrew. I know there were moments when people dismissed your feelings, misunderstood your pain, or failed to notice how deeply you were struggling. Those experiences taught you to carry your emotions privately instead of risking further disappointment. But hiding your pain did not heal it, my child. It only made you feel unseen while the heaviness inside you quietly grew. I watched you pull away from conversations because explaining yourself felt impossible. I saw the moments when you wanted comfort but convinced yourself not to ask for it. You became so used to carrying everything internally that emotional loneliness started feeling normal to you. But you were never created to live emotionally disconnected from others and disconnected from me. Stop isolating your heart now. Stop convincing yourself that nobody would care if they truly knew how tired you feel inside. There are parts of you still longing to be understood, comforted, and emotionally safe. Do not bury those needs beneath pride or fear. Let yourself become honest again. Let yourself admit when you are struggling instead of constantly saying you are fine while your spirit feels overwhelmed. I am inviting you into closeness, not performance. Bring me the parts of yourself you keep hidden from everyone else. Bring me the fear of rejection that keeps you emotionally guarded. Bring me the loneliness that settles over you during quiet nights when your thoughts become too loud to ignore. You do not have to keep carrying this invisible ache alone. Stay near me, my child. Let me teach your heart that connection does not always end in abandonment. Let me show you that being emotionally honest is not weakness. You have spent enough time trapped behind walls built from pain. Open the door now and allow healing, peace, and real closeness to reach the places isolation has kept hidden for far too long. My child, I need you to pay attention to something that has been quietly affecting your spirit for a long time now. You have surrounded yourself with constant noise because silence started feeling uncomfortable to you. The moment your mind becomes still, emotions begin rising to the surface that you do not know how to face yet. That is why you keep reaching for distractions without even thinking about it anymore. You scroll endlessly. You keep yourself busy. You fill your schedule, your ears, and your attention with anything that prevents you from sitting alone with your thoughts for too long. At first, it felt harmless. It seemed easier than dealing with the heaviness inside you. But over time, distraction stopped being temporary entertainment and slowly became emotional escape. You started using noise to avoid honesty. Every moment of silence became an opportunity for pain, fear, regret, or loneliness to speak louder. So you trained yourself to stay mentally occupied instead of emotionally present. Come sit with me quietly now and stop running from your own heart. I know why you became this way. Some of your thoughts scare you. Some emotions feel too tangled to explain. You became afraid that if you slowed down long enough, everything you had been avoiding would suddenly collapse on top of you all at once. But hiding inside distraction is exhausting your soul more than you realize. I have watched you search for comfort in endless activity while your spirit quietly starves for peace. Distraction may silence pain temporarily, but it cannot heal what remains buried underneath. That is why you still feel empty after hours of noise. That is why your heart still feels unsettled even after surrounding yourself with constant stimulation. Your soul is asking for something deeper than distraction can provide. Put the noise down for a little while now. Step away from the endless scrolling, the emotional avoidance, the habits that keep your mind crowded but leave your spirit untouched. Sit with me honestly instead of immediately reaching for another escape every time discomfort appears. You do not need to fear your own heart. I am with you in the silence too. There are parts of you that need attention, healing, and truth, not constant avoidance. Your exhaustion will continue growing if you keep running from yourself every day. Slow your breathing. Let the quiet come. Allow yourself to notice what your soul has been trying to say beneath all the noise you created around it. I am not asking you to become perfect overnight. I am asking you to stop numbing your inner life long enough for healing to begin. Stay near me in the quiet moments instead of filling every empty space with distraction. Your heart has been trying to reach you for a very long time, my child. Let yourself finally listen. My child, there are people drowning in noise who have almost forgotten what my voice sounds like, and this message is becoming the quiet place where their souls finally begin to breathe again. Every act of support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description helps keep this light burning for those wandering through confusion, exhaustion, and spiritual numbness. I am calling my children to stop feeding distraction and start fueling truth, because the hour is too urgent for empty noise. Remember the widow's oil that kept flowing when faith made room for me to move. Your seed may seem small in your hands, but in my hands it becomes provision for countless others searching for peace. Psalm 46 says, "Be still and know that I am God." And through this mission I am drawing restless hearts back into stillness before me. Those who choose to give are helping build refuge for the weary, shelter for the broken, and hope for souls close to giving up. I will honor the generosity that flows from obedience, and I will send refreshing over those who choose to partner with what I am doing here. Therefore, stop scrolling past this moment and act now through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description. My child, there were nights when you prayed with tears in your eyes and silence was the only thing you felt afterward. You asked me questions nobody else heard. You whispered fears you were too ashamed to say aloud in front of other people. Some prayers came from desperation. Others came from exhaustion so deep you barely had the strength to form words at all. And when nothing seemed to change immediately, you quietly began wondering if I had stopped listening to you. I know the disappointment you carried during those seasons. I saw the moments when hope slowly became harder for you to hold on to. You tried to stay faithful, but unanswered prayers have a way of exhausting the human heart when pain keeps lingering day after day. Little by little, doubt crept into your thoughts. You started questioning whether your voice still reached me at all. Come closer to me now and stop believing silence meant absence. I heard every word, even the prayers you spoke through anger, confusion, and emotional collapse. I heard the sighs you could not explain. I heard the moments when all you could do was sit quietly because your spirit felt too tired to ask for anything anymore. None of it escaped my attention. What you could not see was that some things inside you needed healing before certain answers could safely arrive. You were asking for relief while still carrying wounds that would have followed you into every new season unchanged. I was not ignoring you, my child. I was protecting your future while slowly working on the deeper parts of your heart that pain had damaged over time. I know waiting hurt you. I know there were moments when you felt abandoned, watching doors remain closed while life continued moving around you. But do not mistake delay for rejection. Some answers take time because your soul is involved, not just your circumstances. I care about who you are becoming, not only about what you are asking for. Bring your disappointment to me honestly instead of hiding it behind numbness. Tell me where you lost hope. Tell me where waiting made you bitter, exhausted, or emotionally distant. I am not afraid of your honesty. I would rather hear your real emotions than watch you silently drift away believing I stopped caring. Listen carefully now. The fact that you are still searching for me, even after everything, is proof that I never let go of you. Something inside your spirit still responds when I call your name. Stay with me there. Let that small remaining hope breathe again instead of burying it beneath discouragement. I have not forgotten your prayers, my child. Some answers are still unfolding in ways you cannot fully see yet. Trust me enough to remain close while I continue healing the places that waiting exposed inside your heart. My child, the reason these words feel so personal to you is because they were never meant for a crowd. They were meant to reach you in this exact season of your life. I know the details you rarely share with anyone else. I know the thoughts that keep you awake after midnight. I know the private fears you hide behind ordinary conversations. That is why something inside you became still when you encountered this moment. Your spirit recognized that I was speaking directly into places nobody else fully sees. You have read many things before and quickly forgotten them, but this feels different because your heart is tired of surface-level comfort. You no longer need empty motivation that fades by morning. Your soul has been craving honesty, direction, and real peace. That is why these words are pressing against your spirit with such weight right now. I am not speaking around your pain. I am speaking directly into it. Come closer to me now and stop pretending this is coincidence. You have asked for signs more times than you admit aloud. You asked me quietly whether I still saw you beneath all the confusion and exhaustion. You wondered if your life was drifting too far off course to recover. You questioned whether your heart could ever feel calm again. I heard every one of those questions, my child, even the ones you whispered through tears or buried beneath distraction. This warning feels personal because I know exactly where your current path is leading if nothing changes. I can see the emotional damage building beneath the surface while you keep telling yourself you are managing. I know which thoughts have been growing louder in your mind lately. I know where your loneliness has made you vulnerable. I know how close you came to making decisions that would have deepened your regret instead of easing your pain. So stop brushing past your inner discomfort and listen carefully to me now. Your spirit has been trying to get your attention for a long time. The heaviness, the restlessness, the emotional fatigue you keep carrying are not random. They are signals telling you something inside needs healing before it hardens any further. Sit with me honestly instead of avoiding what your heart already knows. Let this moment interrupt the cycle you have been trapped in. Put down the distractions for a little while and allow yourself to fully hear my voice without rushing away from it. I am speaking to you personally because I still care deeply about your future. You are not reading these words by accident, my child. I stepped into this moment because I wanted to reach you before your exhaustion convinced you to settle for a life that slowly empties your soul. Stay near me now. Let this warning awaken you instead of frightening you. There is still time to change direction before temporary pain becomes permanent damage inside your heart. My child, there is a battle happening inside your mind that most people around you cannot see. Outwardly, you continue functioning. You go through routines, conversations, responsibilities, and daily life while carrying an invisible war inside your thoughts. Part of you still wants to believe healing is possible. Another part has become so exhausted from disappointment that hopelessness feels easier than expecting things to improve again. The tension hath been wearing your spirit down, quietly for a very long time. I know how exhausting your thoughts have become lately. There are moments when your mind refuses to rest, replaying fears, regrets, worst-case scenarios, and painful memories all at once. You try to distract yourself, but eventually the noise returns. Some nights your own thoughts feel louder than the world around you. Other times you become emotionally numb because your heart simply cannot process any more pressure. You have been carrying this battle silently while pretending everything is manageable. Come sit with me now and stop fighting your mind alone. You were never meant to carry constant mental chaos without support. The enemy hath been feeding your thoughts with discouragement little by little, hoping you would eventually stop believing peace was even possible for you. That is why negative thinking became so familiar. Fear repeated itself until it sounded believable. Shame lingered until it started shaping your identity. Exhaustion convinced you that emotional survival was the best life could offer. But listen carefully to me, my child. Not every thought deserves your agreement. You do not have to accept hopelessness simply because it speaks loudly during difficult moments. You do not have to surrender your future to fear just because your emotions feel unstable right now. There is still clarity available for you even after all this confusion. I want you to slow down and become honest about what has been happening inside your mind. Stop dismissing your emotional struggles as weakness. Stop pretending you are unaffected by the pressure you have been carrying. Bring those thoughts into the light with me instead of silently letting them control your emotions every day. Take a deep breath now and loosen your grip on the need to understand everything immediately. Your healing will not begin through panic, overthinking, or emotional isolation. It begins when you stop hiding your inner battle and allow me into it. Let me steady the parts of your mind that have become overwhelmed by fear and exhaustion. You are not losing yourself beyond recovery, my child. Your mind has simply been under pressure for too long without enough rest, truth, and peace to sustain it. Stay close to me now instead of retreating deeper into hopeless thinking. Let my voice become louder than the chaos that has been crowding your thoughts. My child, one of the most dangerous lies the enemy ever whispered into your heart was not that you were worthless. It was the idea that you still had endless time to keep ignoring what was happening inside you. That lie sounded harmless at first. It told you there was no urgency. It convinced you that you could deal with your pain later, heal later, change later, pray later, rest later. Slowly, procrastination became a hiding place for your wounded spirit. You kept postponing honesty with yourself because facing your emotions felt uncomfortable. You delayed difficult conversations. You ignored warning signs inside your heart. You pushed away the quiet moments where your soul was trying to tell you something important. Over time, your exhaustion deepened while you kept believing there would always be another tomorrow to finally deal with everything you buried today. Come closer to me now and stop believing you can endlessly survive without tending to your inner life. The enemy wanted you distracted, emotionally numb, and spiritually distant because he knew a tired heart becomes easier to deceive. He wanted you believing that small compromises did not matter. He wanted you accepting emotional emptiness as normal. He wanted your pain to become so familiar that you eventually stopped fighting for peace altogether. I need you to wake up to what has been happening inside you. Your soul has been starving while you kept feeding yourself temporary distractions and shallow comforts. You told yourself you were simply tired, but deeper than tiredness, your spirit was drifting. Every ignored warning made your heart a little quieter. Every delayed moment of honesty allowed fear, shame, and emotional chaos to grow stronger inside your thoughts. Do not wait any longer to face what your soul already knows. Stop telling yourself things will somehow improve while continuing the same patterns that are draining you. Sit with me now and let this moment become a turning point instead of another warning you quickly forget once life becomes busy again. You still have time to change direction, my child, but do not mistake mercy for endless delay. The longer pain remains unhealed, the deeper it settles into the way you think, react, and live. That is why I interrupted your path now instead of later. I refuse to quietly watch your spirit become colder while convincing yourself you are still fine. Open your heart again before numbness hardens it further. Step away from the habits that keep weakening your peace. Bring your exhaustion, fear, and confusion honestly into my presence instead of hiding behind delay. I am not calling you into shame. I am calling you back into life before emotional survival becomes the only thing you know how to do anymore. My child, this is not the hour to delay what I am asking you to do, because too many souls are drifting while believing they still have endless time left to return to me. I am sounding an alarm through this message, and every person who supports this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description becomes part of carrying that warning to hearts on the verge of spiritual collapse. The enemy wants people numb, distracted, and spiritually asleep. But I am raising watchmen who will keep my fire burning in the darkness. Did I not say in 2 Corinthians 9:6 that whoever sows generously will also reap generously? Then hear me clearly. Every seed released with faith becomes fuel for revival, bread for the hungry soul, and light breaking through someone's despair. This is not just generosity. It is obedience tied to eternal impact, and heaven sees every act done for my kingdom. I will cover the faithful giver with peace, strengthen what feels weak, and make streams flow again in places that once felt dry and barren. Therefore do not postpone this divine appointment. Give now through super thanks. Become a member. or so through the PayPal link in the description before this moment passes. My child, beneath all the exhaustion, confusion, fear, and disappointment you have been carrying, there is still a quiet part of your heart that longs for me. You may not always notice it because life has become noisy and your emotions have felt overwhelming for so long, but it is still there. That small place inside you has not disappeared, even after everything you have been through. It still responds whenever you sense my presence. It still hopes for peace even when your mind feels tired of hoping. I know there were moments when you tried to silence that part of yourself. Pain made you hesitant to trust again. Disappointment made you emotionally guarded. You became afraid of expecting too much because you did not want your heart crushed one more time. So instead of leaning toward me fully, you drifted between longing and avoidance. Part of you wanted closeness with me while another part feared vulnerability altogether. Come sit with me honestly now and stop running from the deeper hunger inside your soul. You were never meant to live emotionally disconnected from me while pretending temporary distractions could satisfy you. That quiet ache inside you is not weakness. It is your spirit remembering where real peace comes from. I saw every moment when your heart softened unexpectedly during silence, prayer, music, or quiet reflection. I saw the tears you quickly wiped away when emotion surfaced without warning. I saw the moments when something inside you whispered that you wanted more than survival, more than numbness, more than carrying hidden pain through every day. That whisper was not foolishness, my child. It was the part of your heart still reaching for me. Do not bury that part of yourself beneath fear and distraction any longer. Protect it. Feed it truth instead of hopelessness. Let it breathe again instead of constantly drowning it with noise and emotional avoidance. You have spent so much time trying to appear unaffected that you almost forgot your soul still longs for tenderness, honesty, and connection. Open your heart to me again without pretending you have everything figured out first. Bring me your doubts, your exhaustion, your guardedness, and your questions. I would rather sit with your honest struggle than watch you silently disappear behind emotional walls built from pain. Listen carefully now. The fact that you still feel moved by my presence means your story is not over. Your heart has not become too hardened to heal. There is still softness alive inside you, and I am asking you to stop resisting it. Stay close to me now instead of retreating back into numbness. Let the part of your heart that still wants me become stronger than the fear trying to pull you away. My child, there were many moments when you believed I had become distant from you. Pain has a way of creating that illusion. When prayers feel unanswered and your heart grows tired, it becomes easy to assume you are facing life alone. I know there were nights when you questioned whether I still cared about what happened to you. You looked at your struggles, your failures, your emotional exhaustion, and quietly wondered if you had disappointed me beyond repair. But I need you to understand something deeply now. I never walked away from you, not even during the moments when you stopped reaching toward me. I was there when you sat alone trying to hold yourself together after everyone else had gone home. I saw the nights when your thoughts became so heavy that sleep felt impossible. I stayed near you during moments when fear convinced you that nothing in your life would ever truly improve. Even when you drifted emotionally, even when you became distracted or numb, I did not abandon you. My presence remained close, though your pain made it difficult for you to feel it clearly. Come sit with me honestly now, and stop assuming your struggles pushed me away. You became wounded, my child, not unwanted. There is a difference. I understood the reasons behind your emotional distance. I saw how disappointment slowly affected your trust. I watched heartbreak make you guarded. I saw the exhaustion that built inside your spirit after carrying too much pain for too long. None of that caused me to turn my face from you. You kept expecting me to leave because people left. You expected silence because others failed to understand you. Some part of you believed you needed to hide your weakness from me the same way you hide it from the world. But I already knew every hidden thought, every fear, every regret, and I still stayed close to you through all of it. Stop punishing yourself by believing you are too damaged for my presence. Stop retreating into shame every time you struggle emotionally. Bring your real self to me instead of the version you think sounds strong or spiritually impressive. I am not asking for a performance from you. I am asking for honesty. Look back carefully at your life and notice the moments you survived when you thought you would completely fall apart. Notice the unexpected strength that carried you through days you barely remember getting through. That was not luck, my child. I was holding you even when you did not recognize my hand. Stay near me now instead of pulling away again. Let yourself believe that my love for you remained steady even while your emotions changed constantly. You are not standing here because I abandoned you. You are standing here because I refused to let go of you when your pain convinced you to let go of yourself. My child, you have been trying to function while carrying a level of exhaustion your soul was never meant to live under continuously. You became so used to surviving in a tired state that you stopped recognizing how deeply it has affected your heart, your thoughts, and even the way you see your future. You wake up already drained. Your mind keeps running even when your body slows down. Small things irritate you more quickly now because your spirit has been stretched beyond healthy limits for too long. I know you told yourself you just needed to keep pushing a little harder. You convinced yourself rest could wait until later, after responsibilities were handled, after problems were solved, after everyone else was okay. But your constant emotional pressure has slowly been damaging parts of you that cannot heal while you keep living in survival mode every day. Your soul has been gasping for rest while you continued ignoring its condition. Come sit with me quietly now and stop treating exhaustion like a personality trait you must simply accept forever. You were not created to constantly carry anxiety, emotional strain, hidden sadness, and mental overload without consequence. Living without true rest changes the way a person thinks. It affects patience, hope, relationships, focus, and emotional stability. That is part of why you have felt so disconnected from peace lately. Your inner life has been overwhelmed for too long without enough restoration. I watched you keep giving energy to everyone around you while neglecting your own emotional wounds. You kept showing up for responsibilities while silently collapsing inside. Even moments that should have refreshed you became filled with distraction because you no longer knew how to truly slow down. You feared stillness because stillness often forced you to confront emotions you had been avoiding. But listen carefully to me now. Rest is not weakness. Rest is wisdom for a weary soul. Stop measuring your value by how much pressure you can tolerate before breaking. Stop believing you must earn the right to breathe, pause, or heal. Your exhaustion is not something to mock or dismiss. It is a signal telling you your spirit needs care. Put some things down now, my child. Step away from constant pressure for a moment. Release the need to hold every piece of life together perfectly. Sit with me without rushing toward the next distraction, task, or responsibility. Let your nervous heart become still long enough to feel my presence again. You cannot heal while endlessly running from your own exhaustion. Slow down and allow yourself to receive the rest your soul has been crying out for quietly. I'm not asking you to carry life alone anymore. Let me restore the parts of you that survival mode has slowly worn thin. My child, I need you to understand how serious this moment truly is. The direction you were heading in was not going to leave you unchanged. You kept telling yourself that your choices were temporary, that you could manage the consequences later, but paths have a way of shaping the heart long before a person notices the damage clearly. I could already see where your exhaustion, fear, and emotional numbness were leading you if nothing interrupted the cycle you had fallen into. You were slowly becoming disconnected from yourself. Things that once mattered deeply to you were beginning to lose their meaning. Your peace had become fragile. Your emotions felt unstable. You kept reaching for distractions because silence forced you to confront how tired your soul really was. If you continued living that way, your heart would have become even more hardened over time. Not all destruction happens suddenly, my child. Some of it happens quietly while a person keeps functioning outwardly and slowly losing hope inwardly. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending this path was harmless. I saw the future emotional weight waiting ahead of you. I saw how unresolved pain would continue shaping your choices if you refused to face it. I saw the relationships that would suffer because fear and exhaustion were already controlling too much of your inner life. I saw the loneliness growing deeper every time you ignored your spirit's cry for healing. You were close to becoming comfortable with surviving instead of truly living. That is why I stepped in. I could not watch you settle for emotional numbness while convincing yourself it was strength. I know you became tired of fighting. I know disappointment drained your motivation. But giving up on your inner healing would have cost you more than you realize. Pause for a moment and let yourself feel the weight of what I am saying. Your future still matters deeply to me. The person you are becoming matters. That is why this warning came before more damage settled into your spirit. I wanted to reach you before your pain reshaped your identity completely. Turn around now while your heart can still clearly hear my voice. Step away from the patterns pulling you further into exhaustion. Stop feeding the habits that slowly disconnect you from peace, honesty, and emotional clarity. You do not need to keep moving toward a future built entirely around survival and hidden pain. There is still another path available to you, my child. But you must stop pretending everything inside you is manageable while your soul quietly collapses beneath the pressure. Let this moment wake you up before temporary coping becomes permanent emptiness. Stay near me now and allow me to lead you toward a future where your heart is not constantly trapped in fear, numbness, and emotional exhaustion. And before you continue forward, hear me clearly, my child. This warning was not only for you. There are countless weary souls standing at the edge of the same quiet destruction, hiding pain behind smiles while their hearts slowly collapse in silence. When you choose to support this message through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you become part of the hand I am extending toward them before it is too late. Every seed you release becomes oil for lamps burning in dark places, rivers in spiritual deserts, and bread for hearts starving for hope. Did I not tell you, a generous soul will prosper, and whoever refreshes others will himself be refreshed? I am speaking that promise over you now. This is not a casual moment. This is a divine interruption against the enemy's plan to keep my children trapped in exhaustion and emotional numbness. I see those I am about to rescue through your obedience, and I will not forget the hands that chose to help carry my voice farther. So do not delay. So now, support this mission today through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, and become part of the rescue before more hearts drift deeper into darkness. My child, there comes a moment when a person can no longer hide their exhaustion from themselves. You have tried for a long time to keep moving, as though everything was still under control. You kept pushing through responsibilities, conversations, disappointments, and emotional pressure while quietly hoping the heaviness inside you would eventually fade on its own. But now you are reaching the point where your soul is too tired to keep pretending. I see how exhausted you have become beneath the surface. You are tired of carrying emotions you cannot fully explain. You are tired of overthinking every situation while trying to appear calm on the outside. You are tired of pretending you are okay during conversations while your mind feels crowded with fear, sadness, and pressure nobody else notices. Even simple things feel heavier now because your spirit hath been running on empty for far too long. Come closer to me now and stop resisting the truth about your condition. Admitting you are tired is not failure. It is honesty. Your heart has been sending you signals for a long time, but you kept silencing them because slowing down felt uncomfortable. You feared that if you stopped moving for too long, all the emotions you buried would rise to the surface at once. So you stayed busy. You distracted yourself. You survived another day and called it strength. But survival is not the same as peace, my child. You were not created to constantly carry hidden emotional weight while pretending nothing is wrong. That pressure has been affecting your thoughts, your relationships, your energy, and your ability to feel hopeful about the future. I know you have tried to stay strong for everyone else, but your soul is asking for rest now, not more pretending. Sit with me honestly for a moment and let the mask fall away. Stop telling yourself you should already have everything figured out. Stop criticizing yourself for struggling emotionally after everything you have carried alone. Your exhaustion does not make you weak. It reveals how long you have been fighting battles without enough support, healing, or peace. Take a deep breath now and allow yourself to admit what your heart has known for a long time. You are tired. Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. You are tired of carrying fear. Tired of feeling disconnected. Tired of trying to fix yourself through distraction and constant pressure. Bring that exhaustion to me instead of hiding it behind another busy day. Let me hold the parts of your spirit that have become too weary to keep carrying life alone. You do not need to earn rest from me, my child. You only need to stop running from your need for it. My child, you have become very skilled at hiding your pain. Most people around you would never fully guess how much pressure you carry inside because you learned how to function while hurting. You answer questions with polite words. You smile when needed. You continue showing up for responsibilities even when your spirit feels exhausted. Somewhere along the way, pretending became easier than explaining. You convinced yourself that staying quiet was safer than allowing anyone to see how deeply overwhelmed you truly are. I know why you became this way. There were times when you tried to open your heart and felt misunderstood. There were moments when your emotions felt too complicated to explain, so you stopped trying altogether. You feared becoming a burden. You worried that honesty would make people uncomfortable or cause them to pull away. Little by little, you trained yourself to hide your exhaustion behind composure while silently carrying more than your heart was designed to hold alone. Come sit with me honestly now and stop pretending with me too. I already see the sadness behind your calm voice. I see the emotional fatigue hidden beneath your routines. I know how often you say you are okay simply because you do not have the energy to explain what is really happening inside your mind. But hiding pain does not remove it, my child. It only isolates you further while the heaviness continues growing quietly beneath the surface. You have spent so much time trying to appear strong that you barely remember what emotional honesty feels like anymore. Even during moments when you desperately wanted comfort, part of you still held back because vulnerability became frightening to you. But listen carefully now. You do not need to earn love by appearing unbreakable. You do not need to perform strength every moment of your life to deserve care, rest, or compassion. Take a deep breath and lower your guard for a moment. Let yourself admit the truth without immediately trying to minimize it. You are hurting in places nobody else fully sees. You are emotionally tired. You are carrying fears, disappointments, and inner battles that have drained your spirit over time. There's no freedom in constantly pretending otherwise. Bring me the version of yourself you keep hidden from everyone else. Bring me the tears you swallow back. Bring me the thoughts you are afraid to say aloud. I am not asking you to impress me with control. I am inviting you into honesty so healing can finally begin. Stop treating your emotions like enemies you must constantly suppress. Your heart needs care, not endless performance. Stay near me now, my child, and allow yourself to be fully seen instead of endlessly pretending you are fine while quietly falling apart inside. My child, for a long time you have been searching for relief without fully understanding what kind of healing your soul actually needs. You tried changing circumstances. You tried distracting yourself. You hoped certain people, opportunities, or temporary comforts would finally calm the ache living inside you. Some things helped briefly, but none of them truly reached the deeper places where your exhaustion, fear, and sadness have been quietly growing over time. That is because your pain is not only connected to what happened around you. Much of it settled deep within your heart after carrying disappointment, emotional wounds, rejection, pressure, and loneliness for far too long without proper healing. You kept trying to move forward while ignoring the parts of yourself that were still bleeding internally. Eventually your soul became tired from surviving without restoration. Come closer to me now and stop looking for healing only in things that temporarily soothe your emotions. You need more than distraction. You need truth strong enough to rebuild your inner life. You need peace that remains even after difficult moments return. You need healing that reaches the hidden thoughts shaping the way you see yourself, your future, and your worth. I know some of your wounds became so familiar that you stopped recognizing how deeply they affect you. Fear shaped your decisions. Shame affected the way you speak to yourself. Emotional exhaustion weakened your hope. Certain disappointments quietly convinced you to expect less from life and less from yourself. Those wounds do not disappear simply because time passes. They need honesty, care, and my presence working gently within the deepest parts of your heart. Sit with me for a moment and stop trying to rush your healing process. You do not need another temporary escape. You need restoration from the inside outward. Let yourself become honest about the emotions you keep avoiding. Let yourself acknowledge the fears you hide beneath busyness and distraction. Healing begins when you stop pretending your soul is unaffected by everything it has endured. I am not asking you to heal instantly, my child. I am asking you to stop running from the places inside you that still need attention. Open those hidden rooms of your heart to me instead of keeping them locked behind fear and emotional isolation. Allow me to touch the parts of you that became hardened through disappointment and survival. You do not have to carry these wounds forever, but you must stop feeding your exhaustion while neglecting your spirit. Come walk with me slowly through this healing instead of trying to numb your pain another day. Real healing will require honesty, patience, rest, and trust, but it will also return something to you that exhaustion almost stole completely: your ability to feel alive, hopeful, and at peace again. My child, when you hear the word surrender, part of you immediately becomes uncomfortable because you have spent so much of your life trying to stay in control. You learned early that control felt safer than vulnerability. You believed that if you stayed alert enough, careful enough, strong enough, maybe you could protect yourself from more disappointment and pain. That mindset helped you survive certain seasons, but now it is exhausting your spirit because you were never meant to carry the full weight of life alone. Surrender does not mean giving up on yourself. It does not mean becoming weak, passive, or careless about your future. Real surrender is much deeper than that. It is the moment you finally stop fighting to hold together things that are already breaking you internally. It is the moment you stop pretending your soul can survive endless pressure without rest, healing, or peace. Surrender begins when you become honest about how tired you really are. Come sit with me quietly now and loosen your grip on the need to control every outcome. I know how difficult that feels for you. Your mind constantly tries to predict problems before they happen. You replay conversations. You carry anxiety about the future. You hold on to emotional burdens because part of you believes letting go will leave you vulnerable and unsafe. But all that pressure has slowly been crushing your peace, my child. I am not asking you to stop caring about your life. I am asking you to stop carrying everything as though your strength alone must hold your world together. There are burdens you were never meant to manage without me. The fear you carry, the shame you replay, the exhaustion you hide, the constant pressure to appear okay. Lay those things down now instead of gripping them tighter every day. Take a slow breath and let yourself become still with me for a moment. Stop trying to solve every emotional struggle through overthinking and survival. Stop believing you must earn rest by exhausting yourself first. Surrender means trusting me enough to bring your real condition into the light instead of endlessly managing appearances while your soul quietly weakens underneath. You do not need to have every answer before coming closer to me. You do not need to clean up every emotion before asking for help. Bring me your confusion honestly. Bring me the fears you hide behind busyness and distraction. Bring me the pressure that keeps your mind restless at night. Let me carry what has become too heavy for your heart. Surrender is not losing yourself, my child. It is allowing yourself to finally stop fighting battles alone that are draining the life out of your spirit. Stay near me now, and let trust slowly replace the exhaustion created by trying to control everything by yourself. My child, surrender is not only about what you release. It is also about what you choose to place into my hands for the sake of others still struggling to breathe beneath invisible burdens. There are people listening right now whose souls are one step away from giving up completely, and I am using this message as living water to reach them before despair hardens their hearts. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you are not losing something. You are sowing into a harvest of healing that heaven itself is watching over. Every offering becomes like oil poured into empty lamps, causing my light to continue reaching wounded hearts across the earth. Have I not said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over"? Receive that word as my voice over your life now. This is a sacred invitation, not a routine transaction, because your obedience today could become the answer to someone else's desperate midnight prayer. I will multiply what is surrendered to me, protect what concerns you, and pour fresh peace over the life that chooses generosity. Therefore act now. Release your seed through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal below, and trust me to breathe life through your obedience. My child, you have spent so much time searching for peace in places that could never fully give it to you. You looked for it in distractions, achievements, relationships, busyness, and temporary comforts because your heart was desperate for relief from the constant tension living inside you. Some things helped for a moment, but eventually the emptiness returned because your soul was still carrying burdens that temporary comfort could not heal. I know how badly you want rest inside your mind. You are tired of overthinking, tired of carrying emotional pressure into every part of your day, tired of feeling unsettled even during moments that should feel calm. Your spirit has been craving stability while your life became filled with exhaustion, fear, and hidden sadness. That is why peace feels so distant to you lately. You kept trying to find internally what the world around you could only imitate briefly. Come closer to me now and stop searching for lasting peace in things that constantly change. Real peace is not the absence of problems. It is the steadying of your soul even while life remains uncertain. The peace you long for cannot grow while fear controls your thinking and exhaustion controls your choices. It begins when you stop running from your inner life and allow me to heal the places that have remained wounded for too long. I know there are moments when your thoughts feel too loud to silence. I know how quickly fear can rise inside you after disappointment and heartbreak. But listen carefully now. You do not have to continue living trapped in emotional survival mode. Peace is still possible for you, my child, but you must stop feeding the chaos that keeps draining your spirit. Put down the distractions that keep your soul restless. Step away from the habits that temporarily numb you while quietly weakening your inner life. Sit with me honestly instead of constantly escaping into noise and busyness every time discomfort appears. Your heart needs stillness, truth, and closeness with me more than another temporary distraction. Let your breathing slow down for a moment. Release the pressure to fix everything immediately. Stop carrying tomorrow's fears before tomorrow even arrives. You were never meant to live with constant inner tension as though anxiety is the normal condition of your soul. The peace you have been searching for is not far from you. It begins the moment you stop resisting my presence and allow your heart to rest with me honestly. I am not asking you to become perfect before receiving peace. I am asking you to stop running from the very place your soul hath been longing to return to all along. Stay close to me now, my child, and let your tired spirit finally begin learning what true peace feels like again. My child, I need you to listen carefully now because this moment carries more weight than you realize. You have reached a place where continuing down the same emotional path will begin damaging parts of your heart more deeply than before. I am not speaking to frighten you. I am speaking because I love you too much to stay silent while exhaustion, fear, and numbness slowly pull your spirit apart from within. For a long time, you kept telling yourself you could continue carrying everything the way you have been. You believed you could postpone healing, ignore your inner struggles, and survive on temporary comfort a little longer. But your soul has been warning you that something inside is reaching its limit. The heaviness you feel is not random. Your patience is thinning. Your peace is weakening. Your heart has become tired of pretending it can survive without real restoration. Come sit with me honestly now and stop treating this like another small emotional phase that will disappear on its own. Some damage happens quietly over time. The heart does not become hardened overnight. It happens little by little when pain remains unhealed, when fear controls decisions, and when exhaustion keeps replacing peace. You are standing dangerously close to becoming comfortable with emotional survival while losing sight of the life your spirit truly longs for. I stepped into this moment because I do not want your pain to deepen further. I know where this road leads if nothing changes. I see the emotional isolation growing around you. I see how close hopelessness has come to your thinking lately. I see the patterns draining your peace while convincing you they are harmless. That is why I am calling you to stop now instead of later. Do not ignore this warning, my child. Put down the distractions that keep silencing your soul. Stop feeding the habits that leave your spirit emptier afterward. Stop delaying honesty because you are afraid of facing what hath been happening inside you. Your heart needs healing before exhaustion turns into complete numbness. There is still time to turn back toward peace, but you must choose it intentionally. Open your heart to me now instead of retreating deeper into emotional isolation. Let this moment become the interruption that changes your direction before more damage settles into your spirit. You are not too late, but you are too important for me to remain silent while your inner life slowly breaks beneath pressure you were never meant to carry alone. Stay with me now. Let me guide you away from the edge you have been standing near before your pain convinces you to keep walking toward darkness that was never meant to become your home. My child, I know warnings can sometimes feel uncomfortable to hear. Part of you may wonder why I speak with urgency instead of only offering comfort. But I need you to understand the heart behind my words. I am not warning you because I want to condemn you. I am warning you because I see the pain ahead that you cannot fully see yet. Love does not stay silent while someone walks towards something that will wound their soul more deeply. There were many moments when I could have allowed you to continue drifting without interruption. I could have let distraction fully consume your attention. I could have remained silent while exhaustion hardened your heart. But I step into your path because mercy refuses to quietly watch someone it loves slowly destroy themselves from the inside out. That is what this moment truly is, my child. It is mercy reaching for you before more damage settles into your spirit. Come closer now and stop interpreting correction as rejection. The world may have taught you that warnings only come from anger, disappointment, or control, but my heart toward you is different. I speak firmly because your life matters to me. I care about your future, your peace, your emotional healing, and the condition of your soul. I am not interested in punishing you for struggling. I want to rescue you from the patterns quietly draining the life out of your spirit. I know some of the choices you made came from exhaustion, loneliness, and emotional pain. I saw how fear clouded your thinking. I saw how disappointment weakened your hope. None of that made me stop loving you. If anything, it made me move closer to you because I understood how vulnerable your heart had become. Do not pull away from my warning now. Stay long enough to hear the compassion inside it. Every time I interrupted your path, every time peace disappeared after certain choices, every time your spirit felt restless while moving in the wrong direction, it was mercy trying to protect you before regret deepened further. Sit with me honestly for a moment and allow yourself to recognize how many times I quietly shielded you from things you were too emotionally overwhelmed to notice clearly. Some closed doors protected you. Some delays saved you. Some uncomfortable convictions kept you from drifting farther into darkness than you realize. My child, my warning is proof that I still care deeply about where your life is heading. If I had abandoned you, I would have stopped speaking to your heart altogether. But I am still here, still reaching, still calling you back toward peace before your exhaustion reshapes your life completely. Receive this moment as mercy, not shame. Let it soften your heart instead of hardening it further. Stay close to me now, and allow my love to guide you back toward healing while there is still time to change direction. My child, from the very beginning, I never wanted a distant relationship with you built only around fear, performance, or obligation. I did not create you so you would spend your life emotionally hiding from me while pretending everything was fine. What I have always desired is closeness. I wanted you to feel safe bringing your real thoughts, your real struggles, and your real emotions into my presence without believing you had to clean yourself up first. But somewhere along the way, your understanding of love became tangled with pressure. You learned to expect rejection when you failed. You became afraid of disappointing people, so you slowly carried that same fear into the way you related to me. Instead of drawing near during difficult seasons, you pulled away. You thought your weakness made you less worthy of closeness. You assumed your mistakes created distance between us that could not easily be crossed. Come sit with me honestly now, and let those fears begin to fall away. I already know every hidden part of your heart. I know the battles you never speak about openly. I know the memories that still hurt when they return unexpectedly. I know the exhaustion you try to hide beneath composure and routine. None of those things made me stop wanting relationship with you. I never asked you to become emotionally perfect before coming near me. I wanted your honesty more than your performance. I wanted your trust more than your appearance of strength. Some of the most meaningful moments between us begin when you finally stop pretending and allow yourself to be fully seen. Stop treating me like someone waiting to punish you for struggling. Stop assuming I only come close when you are doing well emotionally. I have been near you during your darkest thoughts, your most confusing seasons, and the moments when you barely recognized yourself anymore. My love for you did not disappear every time your emotions became messy. Open your heart to me now in a deeper way than before. Speak honestly instead of offering me polished words that hide your real condition. Bring me your fears without editing them first. Bring me your disappointment, your anger, your loneliness, and your exhaustion. Let this relationship become real instead of distant and guarded. You were never meant to walk through life emotionally disconnected from me, my child. I wanted you to know what it feels like to rest in love instead of constantly striving for acceptance. I wanted you to experience closeness that remains steady even during seasons of weakness and uncertainty. Stay near me now and let your heart slowly learn that you do not have to hide to be loved here. Let yourself experience the kind of relationship where honesty is welcomed, healing is possible, and your soul no longer has to carry life alone. My child, the closeness I desire with you was never meant to stop with your own healing alone. I am calling my children to become carriers of light for others who still believe they are too broken, too ashamed, or too far gone to return to me. Every time you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you help open doors for another weary heart to encounter my love instead of remaining trapped in fear and silence. Your generosity becomes like seeds planted beside living waters, growing into shelter for souls who desperately need hope again. Did I not say, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy? I am watching every act of faith, every sacrifice made with love, and I will breathe favor upon the hands that help spread my word. This moment is holy because heaven sees far beyond money. It sees compassion choosing to move when others remain passive. The enemy wants people isolated, hidden, and emotionally starving, but through your support, my voice continues breaking through the darkness like fire in the night. So respond without hesitation. Stand with this mission today through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, and help bring wandering hearts back into my presence. My child, there are certain burdens, habits, and emotional patterns that became so familiar to you that you stopped recognizing how deeply they were affecting your life. At first, you noticed the weight. You felt the discomfort clearly. But over time, repeated pain and exhaustion slowly convinced you that this was simply who you were now. You adapted to unhealthy patterns because surviving felt more important than healing. You became accustomed to overthinking every situation. You accepted anxiety as a permanent companion instead of recognizing how heavily it was draining your peace. You tolerated emotional numbness because feeling nothing seemed easier than facing overwhelming emotions honestly. Certain distractions became daily habits, not because they truly satisfied you, but because they helped you temporarily escape the pressure building inside your spirit. Come sit with me now and stop calling your chains normal. Just because pain has stayed with you for a long time does not mean it belongs in your life forever. Some things you accepted as personality traits were actually wounds left untreated for too long. Some coping mechanisms that once helped you survive are now quietly keeping your soul trapped in exhaustion and emotional distance. I watch you excuse certain patterns because changing them felt difficult. You told yourself everyone struggles this way. You convinced yourself your restlessness, fear, emotional isolation, and hidden sadness were simply permanent parts of your identity. But my child, your soul was never designed to live constantly weighed down by fear, shame, numbness, and endless internal pressure. Look honestly at the things controlling your peace right now. Notice how certain habits leave your spirit emptier afterward. Notice how some thought patterns repeatedly pull you toward hopelessness and emotional fatigue. Stop minimizing the damage just because the chains became familiar. I am not exposing these things to shame you. I am showing them to you because freedom begins with honesty. You cannot heal what you keep normalizing. You cannot walk toward peace while continuing to protect the very patterns draining your spirit. Bring those chains into the light with me instead of hiding them behind excuses and distraction. Take a deep breath now and let yourself imagine life without constantly carrying the same emotional weight. You do not need to remain trapped in cycles that slowly weaken your heart. Freedom is possible, but you must stop defending the things quietly harming your soul. Step away from what keeps you bound, my child. Stop feeding the habits that deepen your exhaustion. Let me show you another way to live, one where your heart is not constantly ruled by fear, emotional survival, and hidden pain. Stay close to me now while I begin loosening the chains you thought you would carry forever. My child, you have spent so much time running from your own pain that you almost forgot what stillness feels like. Every distraction, every unhealthy habit, every attempt to stay constantly busy was partly your way of avoiding the deeper emotions you did not know how to face. You feared that if you slowed down long enough, all the sadness, fear, regret, and exhaustion inside you would rise to the surface at once. So you kept moving. You kept surviving. But your soul has grown tired from carrying hidden pain without rest or honesty. Here comes a moment when running no longer feels sustainable. You are reaching that moment now. Your heart is exhausted from pretending. Your spirit is tired of living in emotional survival mode. Deep inside, you are beginning to realize that avoidance has not protected you the way you hoped it would. You only delayed the healing your soul desperately needs. Come sit with me quietly now and stop trying to escape yourself. Let the noise settle for a little while. Stop reaching for another distraction every time discomfort rises inside you. I know it feels frightening to become still because stillness exposes what exhaustion has been hiding. But I want you to understand something important, my child. The moment you stop running is also the moment healing finally begins breathing again inside your life. You will not collapse the way fear keeps telling you. You will not lose yourself by becoming honest about your condition. In fact, honesty will begin returning pieces of yourself that emotional avoidance slowly stole over time. When you stop running, clarity starts replacing confusion. Peace slowly returns to places inside you that fear kept restless. Your mind no longer has to carry the exhausting pressure of pretending everything is fine. I know there are emotions you buried because they hurt too much to face alone. Bring them to me now instead of continuing to outrun them. Bring me the anger you swallowed. Bring me the disappointment you hid beneath silence. Bring me the loneliness you tried to numb with distractions and unhealthy comforts. Let me sit with you in those places instead of watching you exhaust yourself trying to escape them. Take a deep breath now and allow yourself to stay present with me instead of immediately retreating into avoidance again. You do not need to keep living this way. There is freedom waiting on the other side of honesty. There is rest waiting beyond the constant pressure to survive emotionally every day. Stop running, my child. Stay here long enough to discover that my presence is safer than the chaos you keep escaping into. Let your tired heart finally experience what happens when it no longer has to hide from the truth about its own pain. My child, there were moments when you truly believed something inside you had broken beyond repair. Life became heavy in ways you never expected. Disappointment drained your confidence. Emotional exhaustion weakened your hope. After carrying so much pressure for so long, you started looking at yourself differently. You stopped seeing resilience and only noticed how tired you had become. Quietly, you began believing you no longer had the strength to keep moving forward in a healthy way. But I need you to look at yourself more honestly now. You are still here. After everything that tried to crush your spirit, you are still breathing, still searching, still listening, still hoping somewhere beneath all the exhaustion. That matters more than you realize. The fact that your heart has become tired does not mean your strength disappeared completely. It means you have been fighting battles for too long without enough rest, healing, and support. Come closer to me now and stop measuring your strength only by how productive, energetic, or emotionally composed you feel. Real strength is not pretending pain does not affect you. Real strength is continuing to seek healing even after disappointment made your heart afraid to hope again. I have watched you survive moments that nearly overwhelmed your mind completely. I saw the nights when you wanted to shut down emotionally but somehow kept going anyway. You became so focused on your weakness that you forgot to notice your endurance. You forgot how many times you stood back up internally after life knocked you down emotionally. The enemy wanted your exhaustion to convince you that you were defeated, but exhaustion is not defeat, my child. It is often the sign of someone who carried too much alone for too long. Stop speaking over your life with hopelessness now. Stop assuming your future must remain trapped inside the same emotional darkness you have known recently. There is still strength inside you that fear, shame, and disappointment could not completely destroy. I placed it there long before your pain arrived, and it still remains even now beneath all the weariness. Take a breath and let me remind you who you are beyond your exhaustion. You are not powerless. You are not permanently broken. You are wounded, tired, and in need of healing, but your story is not over. There is still life inside your spirit waiting to rise again once your heart begins receiving the care and peace it has been deprived of for too long. Stay close to me now instead of giving up on yourself. Let me strengthen the parts of you that became weak through endless emotional pressure. You do not need to force yourself to become strong overnight. Just stop believing the lie that all your strength is gone forever. My child, I know there were moments when you quietly believed your life had already moved too far in the wrong direction to recover fully. Pain has a way of convincing people that the damage is permanent. After enough disappointment, emotional exhaustion, and regret, you began looking at your future through the lens of your wounds instead of through the truth of who you still are. You started expecting less from yourself, because hope felt dangerous after everything you endured. But I need you to hear me clearly now. Your story is not finished simply because you became tired. Your failures did not erase your purpose. Your emotional struggles did not cancel the future I still see for you. Right now, you are judging your life from the middle of your healing instead of from the end of your journey. That is why everything feels heavier and more hopeless than it truly is. Come closer to me now and stop speaking over your future as though darkness has already won. I know you have made mistakes. I know there are memories that still fill you with shame and sadness. I know there are seasons you wish you could erase completely. But none of those things have the final authority over your life unless you surrender your hope to them. I have watched you survive things that should have completely destroyed your spirit, yet something inside you kept searching for peace anyway. That matters deeply, my child. The fact that you still long for healing means your heart has not fully given up. There is still life within you waiting to grow stronger once fear and exhaustion stop controlling your inner world. Stop deciding your future based only on how tired you feel today. Exhaustion distorts perspective. Pain narrows vision. When your soul becomes overwhelmed, it becomes difficult to imagine joy, peace, or restoration returning again. But your current emotions are not the full truth about your future. Sit with me honestly for a moment and let yourself imagine something different. Imagine a version of your life no longer ruled by emotional survival. Imagine waking up without constant heaviness pressing against your spirit. Imagine your heart feeling safe enough to hope again without fear immediately shutting it down. that future still exists for you. Do not walk away from yourself now, my child. Do not let disappointment convince you your story ended in failure when healing is still unfolding inside you. I am not finished restoring the parts of your life that exhaustion almost destroy. Stay close to me while hope slowly returns to places inside your spirit that fear tried to bury permanently. Your story is still being written, and I refuse to let pain become the final sentence spoken over your life. And because your story is not finished, my child, neither is the story of those still crying out for hope in secret places. There are souls listening whose futures are hanging by a thread, people who were moments away from surrendering completely to despair before this message reached them. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you become part of the miracle of restoration I am writing into their lives. Your giving is not small in my eyes. It is seed cast into fertile ground, and the harvest will echo into eternity. Did I not promise that those who honor me will be sustained like trees planted by rivers that never run dry? I am releasing that blessing over every willing heart right now. This is a prophetic moment of decision because heaven is moving urgently to reclaim lives that pain tried to bury permanently. I will multiply peace, protection, provision, and spiritual strength over those who choose to partner with my work faithfully. Therefore move now without fear, give through super thanks, become a member, or so through the PayPal link below, and help me reach the hearts that still believe their story has already ended. My child, I am not only calling you away from pain, fear, and emotional exhaustion. I am leading you toward something better than the survival mode you have been trapped inside for so long. Sometimes you focus so heavily on what needs to leave your life that you forget I am also trying to guide you toward peace, clarity, healing, and a future where your soul no longer feels constantly burdened. You became so accustomed to managing emotional chaos that peace started feeling unfamiliar to you. That is why change feels uncomfortable right now. Part of you wants healing deeply, but another part fears what life might look like without the patterns and distractions that became familiar over time. Even unhealthy cycles can begin feeling safe when they are all a tired heart has known for long enough. Come walk with me now and stop looking backward at the things that were slowly draining your spirit. I know certain habits, relationships, and emotional patterns became difficult to release because they offered temporary comfort. But temporary comfort is not the same as the life your soul truly needs. I want to lead you toward steadiness instead of constant inner chaos. I want to guide you toward relationships that do not leave your heart emotionally depleted. I want to restore your ability to rest without guilt, trust without terror, and breathe without carrying endless pressure inside your chest. The direction I am leading you requires honesty. It requires slowing down long enough to hear your soul again instead of drowning it beneath distraction. It requires releasing patterns that once helped you survive but are now preventing deeper healing from taking root inside you. I know that process feels uncertain at times, but uncertainty is not the same as danger, my child. Take my hand now instead of retreating back toward familiar darkness every time fear rises inside you. Step away from the emotional habits that keep your spirit trapped in exhaustion. Stop feeding hopeless thoughts that constantly pull your attention backward. Your future cannot heal while your heart keeps returning to the same places that wounded it repeatedly. I am trying to lead you into a life where peace becomes stronger than fear. A life where your thoughts are no longer ruled by constant anxiety and emotional pressure. A life where your identity is not built around survival, shame, and hidden pain. Stay close to me while I guide you through this transition. Do not rush ahead in fear, and do not retreat backward into old patterns simply because healing feels unfamiliar. There is a new direction opening before you now, my child, and it leads toward restoration instead of emotional destruction. My child, After carrying pain for so long, your heart slowly learned how to protect itself by becoming guarded. You stopped expecting too much because disappointment had wounded you deeply before. You became careful with your emotions. You kept parts of yourself hidden because vulnerability felt dangerous after everything you experienced. Little by little, survival taught your heart to harden in places where tenderness once lived naturally. But lately, something inside you hath been changing quietly. You may not fully understand it yet, but there are moments when your defenses begin loosening without warning. A certain thought moves you unexpectedly. A quiet moment suddenly feels emotional. You feel drawn toward honesty instead of distraction, even if it scares you. That softening inside your spirit is not weakness, my child. It is healing beginning to reach places that pain once closed off completely. Come sit with me gently now and stop fighting every emotion that rises within you. You spent so much time trying to stay emotionally controlled that softness started feeling unsafe. But your heart was never designed to live permanently guarded. Protection may have helped you survive certain seasons, but now those walls are exhausting your spirit and keeping deeper peace at a distance. I know there are still fears inside you. Part of you worries that opening your heart again will only lead to more hurt. Part of you feels vulnerable even reading these words because you became so accustomed to hiding your true emotions beneath composure and routine. But listen carefully now. A softened heart is not a fragile heart. It is a heart becoming alive again after surviving too much pain alone. Do not retreat backward into numbness every time tenderness begins returning to your spirit. Stay present with me instead. Let yourself feel emotions without immediately silencing them through distraction, overthinking, or emotional withdrawal. Healing often begins quietly, not dramatically. It begins when a tired heart finally stops resisting comfort and truth. Take a deep breath now and allow yourself to believe that peace is not trying to harm you. You do not need to remain emotionally closed forever just because life hurt you deeply before. I am carefully restoring your ability to trust, feel, hope, and connect again without constantly expecting destruction afterward. Protect the softness returning to your heart, my child. Feed it with truth instead of fear. Stay near my presence instead of retreating into isolation and emotional avoidance again. What you are feeling right now is not weakness. It is the beginning of restoration reaching parts of your spirit that survival mode almost buried completely. My child, I have spoken to your heart throughout this entire journey because I love you deeply. But now you are standing before a decision that only you can make. I will guide you. I will warn you. I will reach for you with patience and compassion, but I will not force your heart into healing against your will. You must choose whether you will continue walking the same exhausting path or finally allow yourself to move toward peace, honesty, and restoration. I know this decision feels difficult because familiar pain can strangely feel safer than unfamiliar healing. Even unhealthy patterns become comfortable when they are all a weary heart has known for a long time. Part of you still wants to retreat into distraction, emotional hiding, and survival because change requires vulnerability. Healing asks you to confront truths you spent years avoiding. That can feel frightening when exhaustion has already drained so much of your strength. Come closer to me now and stop telling yourself you have endless time to delay this choice. Every day you continue feeding fear, numbness, and emotional avoidance. Those patterns grow deeper roots inside your life. You already know where that road leads because you have been walking it long enough to feel the damage building within your spirit. I'm asking you now to choose differently before your heart grows even more tired. You do not need to understand every step ahead before making this decision. You simply need to stop resisting the truth your soul already recognizes. Your heart is tired of surviving without peace. Your spirit is longing for rest instead of constant pressure. Deep inside, You know temporary distractions cannot heal what has been broken within you for so long. So pause for a moment and answer honestly. Will you keep returning to the same emotional patterns that slowly drain your life away? Or will you finally allow me to lead you toward healing? Will you continue hiding behind strength you no longer have? Or will you become honest about your need for rest, truth, and restoration? This moment matters, my child. Not because I am threatening you, but because your future is being shaped by the direction your heart chooses now. Every small decision either moves you closer toward healing or deeper into emotional exhaustion. Take my hand instead of pulling away again. Stop running back toward what keeps breaking your peace. Open your heart fully instead of only partially trusting me while secretly clinging to fear and control. I am ready to walk with you into a different life, but you must decide whether you are willing to leave survival mode behind. The choice is before you now, my child. Stay near me and choose the path that leads your soul back toward life. My child, if you finally stop resisting my hand and allow yourself to trust me fully, your life will not become perfect overnight, but your soul will no longer have to carry its pain alone. That is what I want you to understand most clearly as we reach this moment together. I am not offering you empty promises or temporary emotional comfort that disappears by morning. I am offering you my presence through every part of your healing, every fearful thought, every difficult season, and every quiet moment when your heart still feels fragile. You have spent so long trying to survive through your own strength that peace started feeling impossible to reach. But if you trust me now, truly trust me, you will begin experiencing something your exhausted spirit has been craving for a very long time. You will begin breathing differently. The constant pressure inside your chest will slowly loosen. Your thoughts will no longer feel completely ruled by fear and hopelessness. Little by little, your soul will remember what safety feels like again. Come closer to me now, and stop believing healing must happen instantly to be real. Some restoration happens gently. Some wounds heal through daily closeness, quiet honesty, and learning how to rest your heart in my presence again. Stay with me through that process instead of running backward the moment emotions become uncomfortable. Let me walk with you slowly instead of expecting yourself to carry everything perfectly from this moment forward. If you trust me, my child, you will no longer need to hide behind endless distraction and emotional survival. You will begin recognizing your worth apart from your pain. You will stop measuring your value by your failures and emotional struggles. The shame that once controlled your thoughts will lose its grip as truth becomes stronger inside your spirit. There will still be difficult days ahead, but they will no longer destroy you the same way because you will not be facing them alone anymore. I will steady you when fear rises. I will remind you who you are when shame tries to return. I will guide you when confusion clouds your thinking. I will bring rest to places inside your soul that exhaustion almost completely drained. So stop fighting, my love, now. Stop clinging to the very things that have been deepening your emptiness. Open your hands. Open your heart. Let yourself finally believe that peace, healing, and restoration are still possible for you. I have never stopped reaching for you, my child. Even through your fear, your mistakes, your exhaustion, and your wandering, I remained close. Trust me enough now to take the next step toward healing instead of retreating back into survival. What awaits you is not condemnation. It is restoration. It is peace slowly returning to your heart. It is your soul becoming alive again after carrying too much pain for too long. Stay with me now, and let this be the moment your life finally begins turning toward light again. My child, restoration was never meant to end with you alone. There are still countless hearts wandering in darkness, exhausted from carrying pain in silence, waiting for one message, one moment, one encounter with my presence to pull them back toward the light. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you help keep that light burning for those who are desperate for hope but do not yet know where to find it. Your generosity becomes fire on the altar, oil for the lamp, and manna for souls starving in spiritual wilderness. Have I not declared, whoever sows generously will also reap generously? Hear me now. I will honor the heart that chooses to advance my word instead of turning away from this divine opportunity. This is your moment to step out of passive listening and become part of the restoration I am bringing across broken lives. I will breathe favor upon your household, strengthen you in weary seasons, and return peace to places where fear once ruled. Therefore, do not wait another moment. Support this mission now through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, and help carry my light into hearts still trapped in darkness. My child, there are people around you carrying silent battles very similar to the ones I spoke to in your heart today. If these words reached you at the right moment, let them become light for someone else who may feel tired, lost, or close to giving up. Share this message with at least 3 people you care about, and allow my love to reach hearts that may be waiting quietly for hope, comfort, and direction tonight. And before you leave, I want you to do something personal. Go down into the comments and declare, I will not ignore God's warning anymore. Let those words become a turning point for your heart, not just another sentence you type. Your decision to walk away from fear, exhaustion, and spiritual numbness begins the moment you stop hiding and finally choose the life I have been calling you back to. If you felt my voice speaking directly into the hidden places of your heart today, then stay near this channel and subscribe. Let these messages continue guiding you when your mind grows tired, when fear becomes loud, and when your soul needs reminding that you are not abandoned, forgotten, or beyond restoration. Amen.